I guess it's probably productive to just put at least one into everything, just for a sheer raw bonus. We do have several other grenades that I might want to look into, but probably not. Let's see. Blast shield, brimstone. Bonus grenades. I need more passives in this game. That's fine. Okay, let's warp back. At some point I should probably look into Inquisitor skills. I just really want to... Well, I don't know. The freaking Molotov cocktail is actually pretty strong. Okay, so let's go talk to this guy.
Did you bring back the aether crystal fragments I require?
Here they are.
Excellent. These will do perfectly. I'll just place them into my device here, and... Oh my, that's not right. Not at all. That pulse, it wasn't supposed to go off. Oh dear. 1, 2, 3... Yes, my fingers are still intact. Did it reach you too? How do you feel?
Feels stronger.
Ah, very good. I'm sure a little more aether in your system won't do you the slightest harm. Okay, maybe it was a lot more. But you look fine. Fitter than ever. A real shame about the prototype, though. Showed such promise. Perhaps if I had more fragments.
I think we're done here.
Ah, we've been so preoccupied with this Riftgate business that I completely forgot about my apprentice, Darlet. I sent her out to the Burwich estates to fetch parts for our research, and she's been gone entirely too long. Seems her ineptitude carries beyond just the workstation.
You lost your apprentice?
I have to say, I do feel a little responsible for her now that she's my apprentice. Could you please go out there and find that hopeless girl?
I'll keep an eye out. This guy sounds like an ass. Okay. We got any other quests? Yes. Go talk to Captain John, or whatever his name is. Yep, Captain John
Good,
Bourbon.
you're back. I've heard good things from both Kasparov and Barnabas. You're a real asset to this community.
Thank you.
One of my scouts came back with news making our next move clear. The dead are heavily concentrated in Burwich Village to the north, past the swamps of Whitemire. There must be a reason why. Perhaps the ethereal behind these attacks is there. We can't know for sure without investigating deeper.
How can I help?
You've proven yourself quite resourceful thus far. Your ability to secure rift gates for human use could be a turning point in our situation. With all the activity around Burwich, there's bound to be a rift gate. If you can capture it, that will give us a solid foothold in the area.
How do I get to Burwich?
Follow the road north through Whitemire. Though in the current state of things, you will likely have to leave the road behind well before you reach the village. Keep pressing north, and you will eventually reach the outskirts of Burwich. It's surrounded by a palisade wall, so you will have to find a way inside. Once you've secured the rift gate, return to Devil's Crossing.
I'm ready. That's some bland voice work. It's bland, but they picked a very good dude for it. You've returned. I see that you carry my brother's amulet. So it is as I feared. Unfortunately, Milton was one of the dead. This is a lot to take in. Milton, I'm sorry, brother. Thank you, stranger. At least I can live knowing my brother is free of all this misery. The amulet was enchanted to keep my brother strong. I think you could use it more than me. Here, may it bring you luck. Did she give me a ring? She gave me a ring. Oh, wait, no, there it is. Yeah, that's better than what I got. Let's see
what's left of my wares.
Let's see, the voice acting sounds reasonable to you. I think the voice acting itself is decent. The main thing is they picked good people to do it. The people just weren't given much for cues, so they sound kind of bored. Which is, I think, very true of quite a lot of voice acting. It's very difficult to actually, I have 2 of these rings, actually. Damage to Beastkin. And resistance. That's okay. I think I'm fine without either of these rings.
Iron well spent.
So, do you guys have trouble with mosquitoes where you live?
Safe
Nope.
storage, no questions asked.
Oops, I need those. Oh, I see. You can just move components. Ain't that handy? I didn't even notice that. Let's see. How much? 10,000 iron bits. That's not so bad. Yeah, not complaining about the voice itself, just flat performance. They had no direction. Yep, that's exactly what I was saying. Bye. And so, like, I will admit, I would rather have a good voice but a bad voice actor than a bad voice actor with a good voice, if that makes sense. Maybe. I just remember a number of indie games over the years that had voice acting that was very passionate, but it was so bad. Whereas conversely, what's a good example? Indivisible had really random voice acting. That was one of those like weird indie games. I liked it, but it definitely felt like they were just like scraping the barrel when it came to scraping the barrel. That's not quite the right term. They just hired random people to do the voices for the characters, or the characters were let's see. It was either that or the characters were like voice actors, or the voice actors were pulled from like Kickstarter backers. That's the other potential thing, but I don't know. Let's see. Bad casting is a huge problem. Yeah, at some point I'd like to try my hand at semi-professional voice acting. I don't actually know if I would care about doing it professionally so much as just like, it would be cool to apply to a couple of like indie game voice acting gigs and just be like, hi, yeah, I have some experience. You need like, I mean, I'd effectively put together a reel and just be like, old man voice, crackpot voice, weird like, the thing is, I feel like my best voices are my odd ones. And maybe that's just because I'm putting on a voice, but like, I can do my own voice, obviously. I can do passion there, or passionate voice acting there. I can also do like weird gremlin men. I don't know. I would love to voice nothing but like weird gremlin people. Like, strangely enough, Mark Hamill, post Star Wars, became the Joker pretty much in all animated and video game media. Whenever they needed a voice actor for Joker, it was him, more or less. And he did such an absolute wonderful job as the Joker that, like, yeah, I liked him in Star Wars, but to me, Mark Hamill will always be the Joker first and foremost. And that actually is like a mild career goal of like, yeah, it'd be kind of cool to just retire as like the voice of some like B-list villain that's everywhere. Can you do Arnold? No. No, I can't do accents very well. I can do other things. At some point I will definitely invest in like voice acting lessons. Specifically because like I'd really like to be able to voice act a wide range of characters in my D&D campaigns, because that's actually one of my big issues, is that like I only have so much range, and so it actually makes it very difficult for me to voice act certain characters. I should probably practice accents, because that would actually be an easy way to do it. No, I don't really do impressions of pre-existing characters. And that's actually something you're not really supposed to do. When it comes to, like, voice acting practice. I mean, it's good, yes. But if you put, like, a reel in your, Holy crap, this guy's fast. If you put a reel, like a voice acting reel together, you're not supposed to do it in terms of, like, this is my Schwarzenegger. Unless you're, like, an absolute one-for-one Schwarzenegger impersonator. At least that's from what I've heard. So I don't bother. It's also a lot harder for me to come up with a dual voice without a script, but there's that. Okay. Anything else? Nope. Okay, we're just pushing onwards. Let's see. Carnage looks recent. It's one thing I've actually had as a confusion with this game, is it feels like the world went to shit a long time ago, but they keep talking about stuff as though it happened very recently. See, man, people are playing a lot of these games recently. Wolcen is super fun, but made me want to play a slightly better crafted Diablo-like. And so I tried Torchlight 2. It surprisingly didn't stick as much as I wanted. This feels a lot better. I also just love Diablo-likes. Someday I'll play through Path of Exile properly. Because that's the other Diablo-like that I really want to get into, and a couple other things. Okay. I should probably stop soon. My hand's just a little crampy right now. Been doing too much mouse clickage. Also just recording a bunch lately. The ethereal issues are new. The Eldritch stuff's been going on for a good while, I think. There's probably like a proper breakdown of the lore. Out there somewhere. There always are those YouTubers that will go like way out of their way to find every bit of lore and plot and whatnot, and summarize it for the rest of us. So let's take a look at Inquisitor for a second. So 8% chance to be used. Activates off of weapon attacks. This is a ranged weapon bonus. So I just would do an extra 13 piercing damage plus bonus stuff. That's actually really good. So speccing into this is not a terrible idea. Let's see. Alright, I've been ignoring devotions. I'll deal with that later. All the top passives are good. That's what I was thinking. So let's get up to this one at the very least. Okay. Health, offensive ability, health. Fire and Aether damage. So, Imp isn't a bad idea. And there's also this guy. There's actually a lot here. Fire and Chaos. So fire, also bonus pet damage. Don't care about pet as much. Chance when hit by melee attacks. Fire retaliation. Interesting. Okay, so getting to some of these. This one, the torch seems like a good idea. Okay, so yeah, let's start with Imp and go from here. Yeah, so I need blue affinity for the first one. Okay, that'll do. Doesn't look like the mod that I installed actually worked. Maybe it did. It was supposed to increase the amount of devotion points I get. I'll probably take a look at that after I get back from vacation. I mean, vanilla Grim Dawn is just as fun. I was just hoping to have slightly more. Okay. I should probably find a somewhat good stopping point. Because I should be getting to bed sooner than later. Yeah, I gotta get up early. Ooh, yeah, I do have to get up early. Oh. This guy seems like a reasonable potential marker for giving up the ghost. At least for tonight. Oh. Mainly because the other thing is, I've been doing nothing but mouse-based gameplay today, and my pinky's actually starting to hurt a bit. Which sounds like a really silly thing to say, but it's one of those where, like, I don't know, more or less clicking the whole night without stopping is actually kind of uncomfortable. At least most people kind of take breaks, but when you're streaming, you don't really. I'd say we got to be really close to the end of this, though. Maybe not. Holy crap, there's a lot more. Was Gloomwald in this game previously? It must have been. No. You definitely don't go all the way up this direction. You, like, finish Burwich Estates. It's Burwich. Getting old. I think this is less of getting old and more of... Well, I mean, yes, getting old. Getting old definitely increases my sensitivity to, like... overdoing it here. But in this case, it's much more of a just, I'm doing something that the human body is not really meant to do for long periods of time, constantly. And so it actually does come with some level of discomfort. Yeah, so the Inventor's Apprentice is in Burwich Estates. I'll take a look at it. We'll see how we're doing. Handcrafts while gaming was not an issue 10 years ago. Yup. I mean, I think part of it is just, like... Even when you're young, you should still be careful about your posture and so on and so forth. It's a bad idea to, have terrible posture even when you're young. Because you develop terrible habits. One thing that I've been trying to do lately, specifically, is actually improve my, my seated posture. Because when I was young, I slouched like crazy because, like, you know, it didn't matter. But then, honestly, like, post-graduation, I don't know if I threw out my back or, like, hurt a muscle or something like that, but I had to wear a back brace for, like, geez, an entire summer or something. It was pretty bad. And so that was kind of the point where I said, yeah, okay, might actually be a really good idea to, pay more attention to a lot of this stuff. Didn't drink responsibly, heed my advice. I've always been a fairly responsible drinker comparatively, which is kind of nice. Let's talk to this guy. Thank goodness someone came. Those Slith, they attacked my caravan and killed all my guards. I think the only reason they left me alive is so they could have me fresh later, those bastards. From Devil's Crossing, I can help you get back there. Don't kid yourself. Look at this blood. I'm not going to be able to walk out of here. Appreciate the thought. It might be better for you to just end it quick. Probably won't like this, but I can open a rift for you. Last thing I want is my legs to stay on this side while the rest of me goes back. But you're not giving me any alternatives, are you? Send me off then. Pretty sure this is safe. Whoop. I remember this guy. But yeah, I've always been an extremely, I'm going to say responsible drinker. Mainly, I don't like getting drunk. I don't mind getting tipsy, but it's, like, I know there's some YouTubers and streamers out there that get, like, hella drunk while filming their content. But, like, they're not actually as entertaining. Maybe the act of them being drunk is entertaining. But it's one of those where, like, I have trouble stringing thoughts together if I'm drunk. And so, you know, I think that kind of works when I'm doing, like, multiplayer stuff-ish. But even then, like, you know, not to the point where I'm, like, pass out or blackout drunk. I've had friends over the years that actually had to go to, the hospital for alcohol poisoning and whatnot. And it just wasn't pretty. There was nothing fun about what they, like, it didn't seem like it had been fun or worth it or anything like that. As soon as you mentioned posture, you set up straighter. Yeah, I mean, everyone needs to work on their posture. I definitely do. I was thinking about, like, getting old, and I'm like, oh shoot, I'm slouching again. What I should probably do is actually get one of those things that just forces me to have good posture, whether I like it or not. That would be the smart thing. Because baseline, like, you know, then I'd be forced to have good posture along the way, ish. Record for being drunk. Record for hours staying drunk is 51. Cripes. Yeah, that's oof. I will absolutely take, like, drinking and being drunk for like an hour or two, but like 51, man. Main reason why I never really got into drinking, beyond just my desire to, like, stay somewhat in control of myself, is also just the fact that I really like, oops. I really like having money, and beer is expensive. 3 scrap and 5,000 iron bits to repair. Sure. And then we go into the cave anyway. Do we? Nah, screw it. I'm dressed to the nines. Hey, I finally picked up boots at some point. Yeah, alcohol is pricey. Especially if you want to, like, drink often. I remember when we were in Croatia for a study abroad. Our study abroad. I would buy Orahovac, which was a walnut liqueur, and it was maybe $10 a bottle, which, like, in the US that's cheap as hell, but there it was actually fairly high class. There were some other things. There was, like, some gold liqueur that was stupid, and that was expensive. But we had a bunch of hospitality students that lived in the apartment above us that were also part of the study abroad, and every single night, they would go to the local supermarket and buy a $2 bottle of wine and just drink it non-stop until they're out. And it was gross. Like, we'd go up there and they would just have so many bottles, and it was just like, why? And I'm sure it's kind of a friend culture thing or a culture thing. But it just didn't seem like it was worth it, and we'd often, like, go out to stuff, and they'd be like, yeah, we can't come with. We're, you know, currently waiting for some more money to come back from home, and it's like, how are you out of money? Oh, sup?
Oh, hello, traveler.
If you find yourself going about these parts, I was wondering if you'd help us locate someone. I'm a bit tied up with the forge here. Someone disappeared? My master, Agram, left our camp earlier today. He's intent on finding a group of survivors that he considers worthy of our smithing talents. I don't exactly see eye to eye on the matter of who we should be helping. Agram wants to field an army and take the fight to the ethereals. I'd rather save as many as we can, whether they can fight or not. I want to help these people, but without my master's forging hammer, the sacred Malium Menhir, I won't be able to make anything worth a damn. Blacksmith, we could use you at Devil's Crossing. If you get the Malium Menhir back, I'll gladly join you in Devil's Crossing. After I use it to help out around here. Please seek out my master and get Malium men here back. So I'm heading out into the northeast. Couldn't have gotten far. Okay, who's that? Lore notes. I know I should probably read those, but I don't feel passionate about it. Let's see, an exoskeleton to get my posture better? No. You can get like a back brace that specifically forces you to sit up straight. Oh, this is where the bridge tunnel would have dropped me. Gotcha. What else was there? The interesting thing about the hospitality students is that one day they were having like a party. It wasn't even a party, just some of our friends decided to go up there and hang out with them for a couple hours. And as a joke, they handed me 2 bottles of really strong alcohol and more or less told me to just look like I had been drinking them or something like that. Or I think I was just carrying them around. I don't think I actually drank either because the beer was gross. But it was fairly alcoholic beer. And it was the stuff that like you wanted to drink if you actually wanted to get drunk by the time you were done. And they weren't small bottles either. I think they were easily like liter plus, liter and a half. And so yeah, I carried these 2 bottles around more or less for this one guy because he didn't want to carry them himself. But after the fact, all these like hospitality students were suddenly a lot nicer to me, and I wasn't entirely sure why until the friend that told me to carry the alcohol said they legitimately thought I drank both that night and wasn't drunk yet. And apparently to earn their respect, I just had to be extremely alcoholic, which was a bit baffling. I was surprised by that one. I have not spent any of these in a while. Do we want to just keep pumping it into cunning? Put a bit into physique. Luckily, the bonus stats from... Whoa, that's good. The bonus stats from my equipment and my class seem to be carrying me forward pretty damn well. Merely drank whiskey and rare bottle of vodka, scotch, or brandy thrown in every few days. It was cheap, but there's a lot. The whole things who got out isn't good enough type of deal. Thought you were being rude. Huh. Yeah, maybe. Probably, actually. Thing is, though, like, I guess I've always kind of, I'm not going to say a devil-may-care attitude. I've just been around enough people over the years that I've stopped trying to impress anyone. And so I'm always a little bit taken aback when somebody has, like, a really hard change of heart on me. Because, you know, I just... Ripes, hi. I just usually operate under the assumption that, you know, people's first impression of me is just going to be their continual impression of me. Regardless of whether or not it's actually correct. And I've stopped trying to change people's minds about who I am, especially by acting like what I'm not. And so in this case, I actually was acting like someone else. And so yeah, I was a bit taken aback that they would even believe that as like a potential thing of like who and what I was. But I could see it, that they thought I was being rude or boring or something like that. My problem is just in general, like, I don't find that sort of activity to be particularly interesting. I'd much rather hang out with people and, like, draw, play board games.
My inventory is full.
Like, I will admit, I like talking shop a little bit too much. Oh, blueprints. I gotta pay attention to those. I absolutely love to talk about, like, back-end YouTube things way too much for some people. I've definitely, like, had conversations with people where I'm just like, oh, I'm talking too much business for them. They don't like this. Hello, this guy, Lancel the Knight. What the heck is... what? Thank you for saving my behind back there. Turns out not all the risks mean bad business. I've gone ahead and set up shop. Let me know if you need anything.
I'll give you a good price on what I've got left.
Oh, I should have maybe paid attention. Let's see, buyback. Pistol. What is the damage? Yeah, actually the stuff I've currently got equipped is better. The Francis's gun might not be as good, but the fireball's real nice.